Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Mead Hall. Right now, there are hundreds of meaderies in the United States, with even more opening every year. So, chances are that you're going to go to a meadery. We have a list of things that you should know before walking through the door. If you're new to mead, this should help clear up any confusing terms. But if you're an expert, follow along anyway and see if we left anything out. All of the meads that we'll be using as examples have already been featured in previous episodes. So, if you'd like to know how they taste, follow the links. Let's get started. First off, what is mead? Well, mead is fermented honey that's been turned into a delicious alcohol. But mead can come in as many flavors and varieties as you can think of. And, more often than not, there's a name for that. Just because mead is fermented honey doesn't necessarily mean it has to be sweet. Although, it can be. Mead has a range from saccharinely sweet all the way to bone dry. And everywhere in between. So for example, All-Wise Show Mead is a very dry mead, whereas the MacLeod typically runs very sweet. It can either be a session mead with low alcohol and carbonation, or it could be still with no bubbles and higher alcohol. And then there's a special category of sparkling wine style mead that is bubbly and the alcohol ranges wherever it wants to be. Melovino is a prolific draft mead, and a lot of their meads are carbonated, whereas Schramm's mead is more of a traditional style. And then somewhere in the middle is Enlightenment Wines mead that does sparkling wine style meads. A melomel can be raspberry, cherry, cranberry. It's really a catch-all for all the different kinds of fruit. However, some meads are very specific. A mead made with grapes is called a piment. Very specific, has to be grape. WA Meadworks grape drink is a piment session. Whereas here, this is actually a homebrew piment. Wasn't featured on our channel because it was homebrew, but still really good. Session or still, so long as it's a grape, it's a piment.
It's a piment!
Any mead made with apple, be it apple cider or apple juice, is called a CYSER. Moonlight's Last Apple happens to be an apple cider aged in a bourbon barrel. CYSER, cider, that's a pretty easy one. Any mead made with hot pepper is called a Capsicumel. Moonlight Meadery's Fury brings the heat with a Trinidad scorpion pepper. But don't be afraid to try this hot pepper mead, because the alcohol will actually break down the capsaicin, making it quite drinkable. Then there are different ways to prepare honey for making mead. A bochet mead is made from caramelizing the honey. Caramelization brings out a range of flavors, from toasted marshmallow to toffee, and it can even darken the honey. WA Meadworks was a very light bochet with mellow flavors. Any mead made with herbs is called a METHOGLYN. Enlightenment Wines Florelia has a majoram, lavender, has a Jupiter, has a Jupiter, lavender, and majoram.
Jupiter?
Jupiter. Has a Jupiter, majoram, and lavender.
Jupiter, you keep saying Jupiter.
Jupiter. Juniper! Juniper, lavender, and majoram mead would clearly be a METHOGLYN. Any mead made with maple syrup is called an ACERGLYN. It doesn't have to be sweet or syrupy at all. Sap House Meadery did a great job finding balance between the honey and the maple syrup. I don't mean to brag, but no, a braggot. Any mead made with malt is also a braggot, a beer style mead. It can have hops or oats or wheat or barley, but for the most part, I've only seen them at breweries. But I love them and I'd love to see more. Several meaderies also have a special holiday spiced mead. Mulling spices like cinnamon, clove, star anise, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger, orange peel, and other different mulling spices are often found. Of course, mulled means they serve it hot. Liquid Alchemy's Glogtoberfest and Brimminghorn Meadery's Yulapuki are great examples of these. Then there's Tej, the Ethiopian style mead, made with gesho, or shiny leaf buckthorn, which is a bittering agent like hops. Which brings us to our next point. Not all mead is Viking. Mead is global, multicultural. There is mead found in almost every ancient civilization, from Rome, Egypt, the Middle East, and China. And of course, all of Europe. Mead was everywhere, which leads us to yet another point. Not all mead is made with the same type of honey. The taste, look, and aroma of the honey can vary depending on where the bees get their nectar from. We could spend hours talking about the different tastes of honey, and mead makers definitely do, but here's a couple of examples. Mesquite, orange blossom, meadow maple, and Dakota clover. All of them are traditional style meads, but none of them taste the same. Mead makers are also called mazers. As a matter of fact, the biggest mead making competition is in the United States in Colorado, called the Mazer Cup. There is no standard for mead. It can range from 750 milliliters all the way to a 12-ounce can. Just wait until mead gets this size. Oh yeah! From our own research at Mead Hall, we found that most mead comes in a 500 milliliter or a 375 milliliter bottle, but it's only occasionally that you'll find them in a 750 milliliter standard wine size bottle. Mead also has a variety in price and can range to affordable to very expensive, just like wine. We took every bottle we purchased for Mead Hall, which was 45 bottles excluding the cans. Viewing each bottle as a rounded up 750 standard size, we found the average price of $34, with an average ABV of 13%. Just like there's no standard for what bottle there is, there's no standard for how you should drink it. Some people recommend snifters, but you can drink it in whatever glass, earthenware jug, goblet, beer glass, horn, skulls of your enemies, whatever you want. Really, it's all about your personal preference.
What do you prefer?
I prefer keeping my mustache clean and drinking it in a mustache stein. Don't be afraid to talk to the mazer at the meadery. People who make mead are obsessed with mead. Take it from me, we made a whole video series about our hobby. That was 19 things you should know before going to a meadery. Even if you forgot everything, the one thing you need to take away is that there's a mead for everyone. Yours is out there. Go find it. Or make it. We only have a couple more weeks of Mead Hall left. I have to go back to my day job, counting fish in the Bering Sea, so that means the video series is going to come to a close. Or will it? Dun dun dun! Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you happen to think of any things that we missed in this video, let us know in the comments. And as always, if there's a mead that you want us to review, let us know and we'll try to find it. Love you, bye!
Bye, John. In between murdering halibut, will John be reviewing the meads of the West Coast? Or does Nina have something she's going to do?
Ooh, Nina. How's my hair? Stupid?
A little.